What's going on, everybody? This is Nick and Victor here, coming at you once again with just another tech and gaming show.
Hey, everybody.
What is going on this week? I'm going to tell you. So today we're going to talk about Apple's upcoming press conference we got coming up September 10th at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.
2019,
in case you're curious. And it's going to be about their next iPhone, presumably the Apple Watch, and I think they're probably going to talk about some of their services, so we're going to give our thoughts, opinions on that. Everything is speculation at this point. We're doing this the week prior, but we'll be releasing this on Monday, so you're going to hear it just a day before if you're listening to it on time. And really, another thing we want to talk to is just what we expect and what we would like to see come up. So this is the tech part of the show, as we've done gaming several times now. Although, to get us started, I just want to ask, Victor, how you doing this week, and what games have you been playing?
I'm doing great this week. It's been hot, but I've been staying cool.
It has been a freaking desert.
Yeah, I've kind of gave my consoles a little rest this week. I've been more on the mobile game Clash of Clans.
Which, in case any of you know, is phenomenal.
Yes, I spend my whole day playing that game.
And my whole paycheck. It's pretty much why I'm at work.
Multitasking at its finest.
Absolutely. Yep, exactly. You earn money to get gems.
Yes. It's an invaluable employee trait.
Yes, and we play it on our iPhones, which leads us into, it doesn't quite lead us there yet, but...
What have you been playing, Nick?
You know, I've been dying to tell you. So, I just got Catherine Full Body this week. For those of you who don't know, it's a JRPG. I'm assuming you probably don't know. I don't know why I even said JRPG. It's not really a JRPG. There's not really anything like it. It's a really interesting game in which you play as Vincent, who has a long-term girlfriend whose name is Catherine with a K. And then he ends up cheating on her with a girl also named Catherine, but with a C.
What are the chances?
And what are the chances? It could only happen in a game. And so during the evening portion of the game, you play as Vincent at a bar, and you kind of live his social life. You get to pick who it is you want Vincent to end up with in the end. But on a side note, and a big part of the story is that guys have been dying at night in Tokyo, and at night Vincent experiences dreams in which he's got to climb up towers. It's like a block tower puzzle game. It's really interesting. It's really hard to explain. You would probably just have to watch a video. I honestly might record gameplay of it for the YouTube version of this. I don't know. It's rated M, so maybe not. It's not, and it seems like it's somewhat a dating sim, somewhat a puzzle game, a little bit of both. It's really good though. It's a really good story. I like it a lot. So, and it was originally a PS3 game that I believe had come out in 2010, I want to say. And I played it then, and now this version has a new character, new cutscenes. There's more to the game. Nice. But that's not entirely what we're here to talk about, even though it's amazing, and I would highly suggest that you check it out. Maybe it may not be for you, but I would at least say check it out and see if you would have the interest. It is made by Atlas. They make the Persona games. It's got a similar feel. You know, actually, before we get into the phones, I did just want to mention, for those of you, as it is time sensitive, that have PlayStation Plus, the free games this month, Darksiders 3, which was a huge surprise to me, and I really wanted to pick that up, but now I get it as a part of the PlayStation Plus, as well as Arkham Knight, which is a great Batman game. In case you haven't played it, highly suggest checking those out. If you have Game Pass, 2 games of note that I just wanted to call out. You know, we're going to call out 3 games. No, we're just going to call out all of them. We'll read all 100 and something. Just 2 games of note. Devil May Cry 5 is on there, which came out this year, is very good. I shouldn't say very good. It's a great game. I have it. unfortunately, I purchased it, and now it's available on Game Pass. Kingdom Come Deliverance, also a game that's on there. Relatively recent release, medieval game. I'm sorry, I would describe Devil May Cry 5, but I can't. You're just going to have to play it. Medieval game for Kingdom Come Deliverance. And then Dead Cells, shockingly, which is an indie game that has gotten a huge amount of praise. And a lot of people love it. It's I don't really want to say this, but this is the only way that people are going to understand. It's a Roguevania game, which just means that it's kind of like Metroid. It's kind of like the original, or like Castlevania. Interesting concept. I would just suggest checking that out. You may as well if you have Game Pass.
And I did want to add in there, if you have Xbox Live Gold, the free games for this month would be Forza Motorsport 6, the standard edition, which is awesome. I mean, for a free racing game, I mean, I can't really complain. I don't really... The last racing game I purchased was The Crew. I didn't really like it as much, but Forza is going to definitely bring me back. And there's also Hitman, the complete first season, if you haven't checked that out.
As well as Earth Defense Force 2025. It's an Xbox game, or Xbox 360 game,
yeah.
But it is on the list.
Yes, it is.
And then, what was it? Oh, yeah. Also, if you're a Game Pass Ultimate holder, September 6th, you can play Gears of War 5. Mm-hmm. September 9th, if you're just a regular Game Pass holder. Or if you just want to buy the game. And you don't have either of those.
Day one on Game Pass.
And that's really awesome. I love that Microsoft does that. I won't get too far into it. I did want to mention, because I hear a lot of other channels say it. Victor kind of said it, but to his point, he's a little bit more correct with Xbox Live. PlayStation Plus and Game Pass are not free. So I don't know why people say, you're free games this month. It's included in the service. So I like the idea of saying included because I'm bitter and angry. And I can't just say free. I kind of feel like with the Xbox Live, they are free, though, in a sense, because you get to keep them even when your service ends. Yeah. Whereas with Game Pass, you do not get to keep any of those games. It's like Netflix for games. You don't pay, you don't play.
You borrow it.
And you borrow it. And PlayStation Plus, you get to keep the games, but they're unusable if you don't pay for PlayStation Plus. So
yeah, that was a big point.
Just bear that in mind. Now, let's get what was really my only point for this video, which is the Apple press conference that we have coming up on September 10th. Victor and I are going to watch it live. We're not going to watch it live on YouTube or anything, so we don't want to.
As it happens, we'll know.
We'll watch it live and we'll live tweet it. No, I'm just kidding. We're just going to enjoy it. We'll talk about it after the fact. It should be about Apple's iPhone 11, and allegedly the name scheme is going to be iPhone 11. iPhone 11 Pro and iPhone 11 Pro Max. That's the assumption. I think that's probably correct. And then, so we'll talk about what is expected, but then also what we would like to see. Yeah. And then there's other stuff involved in that too, but let's just roll into it. I'm really curious, Victor. I watch this every year. Even if I don't plan to, I end up doing it. Are you as big of a Apple fanatic?
Recently I have been. Since I switched over to the X last year, I've been really interested in Apple products from then on out.
Yeah, I've been an Apple user. I've been an avid Apple user since the iPhone 4. To give anybody an idea of how long I have been using Apple products, I'll just give you the breakdown of what I have right now so that you understand why I'm going to be engrossed in this. I have one of the latest MacBook Pros, the 13-inch. I have a Apple Watch Series 4, larger size. I have an iPhone 10, and I have the iPad Pro, the 11-inch one, that newer one, and the Apple Pencil to go along with it because I thought I haven't spent enough money yet and given Apple everything I can. I also have the AirPods. So... And then Victor, I know, has quite a bit too. So if you want to go over your rap sheet.
Yeah, I have the MacBook Pro 13-inch, the generation behind the newest one. I believe it's 2017, so it might be even before. But I also have the generation, or the watch.
Current
4,
watch.
The current watch. iPhone X. And I do have an Apple Pencil. It was given as a gift. I don't own an I don't own an iPad or anything, so it's in the box in the saran wrap still. So,
And also, an Apple product, your Beats Pros.
yeah, I do have the Beats Pros. Yeah, sorry, the Beats acquisition.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love those. I love the Power Beats Pros. So awesome.
They are really good. I had them, switched the AirPods. I like the AirPods more because they're a little bit more of a comfortable fit, but the Beats Pro were really nice. Just I think there's a little ear fatigue for some people, and it really got me.
The fit is definitely different. I just really like the bass response and the clarity. I mean, I'm really big audiophile,
great.
So yeah, they sound really good. I think I fight through the pain through enjoying the clarity.
So for those of you that are looking for wireless headphones, AirPod 2s are great, and then the Power Beats Pros are good too.
It's really what you prefer.
And yeah, I would say so too. If you want an in-ear headphone, the Power Beats. I also think they look sleeker. They also have a longer charge outside of the case. And if you don't mind putting them inside the case to charge, you'll get more battery life out of the AirPods with the case versus the Beats Pros with their case.
Exactly. Yeah.
But anyways, to push us right along, we both are somewhat in line for upgrades with iPhones, so we're a little bit excited for that iPhone 11, 11 Pro, and 11 Pro Max coming out. To speak to it, we pulled up a couple rumors, taken a look. There's various places where you can find these all over the place, so I don't really want to reference anything in particular that we're looking at, since rumors come from everywhere, and some of them are just going to be off the top of our head in terms of what we remember from each site. But there's lots of rumors floating around. They're fairly predictable. Just to go over a little bit real quick, the iPhone 11, it's alleged that the iPhone XR is going to be replaced by what's called the iPhone 11. The XS is going to be replaced by the 11 Pro, and then the XS Max is going to be replaced by the Pro Max, obviously. Now, pricing is expected to stay the same. I would say that's probably accurate. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see many off the top, kind of changes coming. I don't think there will be. I think they got a good design with the notch has been kind of accepted for the most part, even though we don't like it. It's kind of...
I would say that's going to stick around too. As will the price tags.
Yeah, I think the price tags will stay about the same.
I don't expect them to go up. I would hate to see if they went up, but I think that's going to stay about the same.
I'd probably say within $100. If it does fluctuate, I'd say they would keep it very marginal when it comes to those increases, if any.
As we talked about earlier, I really don't think there's going to be a change in the Pro series. I think those pricings are going to mirror what we see in the XS and the Max and the regular. But with the iPhone 11, you and I talked about this earlier, I think there's a possibility they go $799. They'll probably stick with $749, but if they did $799, I wouldn't bat an eye. Screens are probably going to stay the same. As you mentioned, I think we can expect... I think we can expect exactly the same screens with exactly the same notches.
I'm really hoping to stay OLED. I love my OLED screen.
Oh, they're definitely staying OLED. Yeah. Although the iPhone 11 will probably be LCD screen, same as is on the iPhone XR. CPU is going to be the A13. Performance, we know will be better than the A12, which is already just a beast.
Yeah, it is.
I think it's expected to be more like a little incremental one instead of a huge leap, which is probably true because it is really powerful. RAM is expected to go up, which is really shocking to me because Apple doesn't really increase RAM very frequently. I want it to desperately.
They're so stingy with storage, any kind of storage,
RAM, regular storage, whatever stinginess. And I agree. I want to talk about that kind of at the end when we give our comments, but. The iPhone 11 is expected to have 4 gigs. The Pro models are expected to have 6. That sounds about right to me.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Currently, I believe the XR has 3, the XS has 4, and the XS Max also has 4. I really want to see them go to 6, just desperately.
I think that's pretty reasonable in this kind of day and age. It's not.
I would think so.
Uncommon.
Apple's very confident in their operating system, which great, and it does work well, even with the 3 gigs of RAM that both you and I have on the iPhone 10s. But I still want to see that bump. Yeah. Just so that it has more future proofing.
And I'm really curious just to see what the iPhone 10 runs at. Just runs at what the RAM it has. I just want to know if it's
bottlenecking. There's no real way to see your RAM usage.
Like how efficient is it? How efficient is this?
Android. I know, right? That'd be a good point. How much are we truly using? Now, moving right along, storages are expected to stay relatively the same, although the baseline iPhone 11 should still remain 64, comparable to the XR. 256 for the next step up, and 512 for the step above that, which would mean that it completely changes in the end. It would double, because right now you go 64, 128, 256 for the XR. And then this way you would go 64 and then double and double again with 256, 512. The 11 Pro and the Pro Max are expected to do 128 as the base, then 256 and 512 respectively. I really hope so, because all the Android phones this year have been doing 128.
Yeah.
All the flagships,
like
the Samsung phones, even the S10e, which is the lower end version of the Galaxy S10, that has 128 as its base, and you could put a micro SD card in it.
Yeah.
So suck on that.
Realistically, I don't think we'd see a 512 in an iPhone, at least for the next few years.
They do now.
Oh, really?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I believe that you can get a 512 iPhone right now.
Oh,
so
I stand corrected. I was not aware of that.
You may not stand corrected. I just got to check their store real quick. I'm pretty confident, since I didn't buy a 10s. I don't really know every striking thing about it.
But I mean, it would make sense though if they're really pushing that the cameras.
Yeah, there is a 512 version.
Okay.
And it's $200 more than the 256 gigabyte. They really, God.
Yeah.
I know we'll talk about it later, but the premiums on the storage increases for Apple are I feel like they've always been a little bit outlandish, and now they're just absolutely absurd. But we're going to push right along. iPhone 11 is rumored to have 2 cameras on the back this time. I assume it's going to be a telephoto and then the regular. That's my assumption. I haven't really read that anywhere. If they are to do 2 cameras on the back of the iPhone 11, it's possible they do the regular and the wide angle, but I think they're going to do regular and telephoto.
That makes sense.
Triple camera setup on the Pro and the Pro Max. So you'd have a mainline camera, a wide angle camera, and then a telephoto. And I think that that's going to be accurate. Battery sizes are expected to increase. It's all over the board. I don't even want to mention the different things that they say. I've seen increments, like I've seen like 5%. I've seen it all the way up to 10 or 15% higher than they are currently. I'm just going to wait and see what the teardowns say. Yeah. Because Apple won't tell you how big the batteries are. They just say all day battery life for an extra hour, or they're cop outs. So I think that's going to be. I think it will increase. I think battery life will improve at least an hour's worth, they'll say.
Yeah. I mean, I think, I know they've been making a lot of efficiency changes in their chipsets as well. So it might be that they'll probably keep the same battery size, but the new chipset
will
be
is going to be more efficient. I
think they did that with this generation too. It was the same battery size as the generation prior, but the chipset gave it the lengthier battery. I could be wrong, but I feel like something like that.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of stuff like that. I remember when they started introducing the coprocessor. I think it was with the A7 that they first had the coprocessor. I could be wrong, so don't entirely quote me on that. But when they had the M7 alongside the A7, it processed the lower end things in the background so that your phone could save on battery life because you have that smaller processor helping out in the back end. So yeah, I mean, they could possibly do something with the A13 where they improve upon that. That's always a possibility. And I think we've heard things like the notch could shrink a little bit. If it shrinks, it's going to be. I think the notch will still. Let's clarify. Between you and me, I think the notch is still going to be there. Yeah. Wouldn't you say the same?
I would say so. It's part of their image,
It's part of their image, but Apple also won't do a hole punch display, and they've backed up Face ID for 2 generations now. I just don't think it's going away anytime soon.
Yeah.
They have to go at least 3 generations with it.
Yeah. My thing is, why not just have the display and just have the cutouts of have the notch gone, put more LCD would cover the notch, and then just have the holes. I mean,
I just don't think they will. If you notice in your iPhone 10, and you can see it when you hold it up to the light, I think there's 2 sensors on the left. I might be wrong. I can't see it in the light that we're in. I apologize. But you have your camera on the right-hand side. You have a little sensor next to that. Yeah. You have a sensor that goes above your speaker grill, and then you have a sensor to the left of the speaker grill as well when you're facing the phone. You can't really see it here. You can see it in direct sunlight. Yeah. They hide it really well, even in direct sunlight. Yeah. So I don't expect that if they did cutouts, it'd look really nice. Yeah, it'd look. I think they could shrink that down, squeeze it in a little bit, move the speaker grill a little bit higher, maybe do a slightly small. Okay, so it looks like I'm partially right. It looks like you got an infrared camera, a proximity sensor. There's a ambient light sensor above the speaker grill. You have the microphone up in the speaker grill for some reason. Front-facing camera, and then the dot projector. So you essentially have 2 sensors on the left, 2 sensors on the right if you're including your front camera. You have the ambient light sensor in the middle, right above the speaker grill. So they utilize everything in that notch. Yeah. And I don't think it's a worst case scenario. You still have a pretty good screen to body ratio there. It's about 84%.
I've learned to live with the notch. So
I expect them to shrink. If they do anything, I think that they would shrink it down a tad, and they'd be like, it's 25% smaller. Yeah. Something like that.
Very
I would expect. Yeah, really, really minor. I don't think that they will. I think the notch is going to be exactly the same. I think the body of the phone is going to be exactly the same too. It is what it is. I would love to see them shrink the notch down, because then you'd feel like it was a little bit more worthy in terms of a purchase, because it would look different than the current generation iPhones.
And it's already a weird enough aspect ratio, because the screen is not your conventional screen as well. So
yeah, that's true. The Face ID is allegedly supposed to be improved. It'll be. I think it'll be. They'll market it as like X amount faster, like X percentage, I think. Yeah. It'll be like a small thing. It's 18% faster. Yeah.
I'm very impressed with Face ID. I love it.
I don't have a lot of problems with it. Although they are supposedly going to do multi-angle like they have on the iPad. My iPad Pro, nice. any direction I have the Face ID facing, it'll still pick it up. Nice. I can have it upside down, right side up, right, left, and it just works, which is great.
Bring that to iPhone.
And I've heard that it's expected that wireless charging, reverse wireless charging is expected to be a thing. I'm pretty sure that's true. Pretty confident. I say that because the current AirPods have the wireless charging case. I think you have a little bit of a different opinion on that.
Yeah, I'm gonna disagree with you there.
Argue with me.
So I'm gonna disagree with you there. I don't think Apple is going to implement that. I feel like it's out of their league to implement that. Just because I feel like it's so out there. It's not something you've heard from Apple. It's not. I don't know. When it comes to Apple implementing new features like that, I feel like they're very safe when it comes to those things. I just really can't see it coming to iPhone. I mean, I just really can't. If I'm wrong, please prove me wrong, because that is a really cool feature. But realistically, kind of thinking of how the past conferences went, I don't really see this happening.
I mean, I think there's a possibility that it doesn't, but I would say that I think it's a 50-50 chance that there's reverse wireless charging or there isn't reverse wireless charging. Maybe I would say 49-51. I think there's going to be reverse wireless charging. Samsung kind of made it mainstream with the S10 and the Note 10. Mm-hmm. And then Apple has the wireless charging case for the AirPods. But they've done weirder things than not release reverse wireless charging on their phones. But I think that it will.
Yeah, I'd love to see it.
I would like for them to make faster wireless charging too, because it's 7.5 watt right now, and I know that you can go up to 10, so I would like them to go up to 10. And I think that on some Samsung phones it's 15, but I think that might just be, I want to say that's the Notes that do that. There's a rumor, I want to address it just because it's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. There's a rumor that it's going to be Apple Pencil compatible. To that I say, phooey. That sounds ridiculous to me. There was allegedly with the newer Macs, because they have the bigger trackpad, which both Victor and I see right here, they were going to allow Apple Pencil support on these. Where's the Apple Pencil support on these?
Yeah.
This is bigger than an iPhone screen. And there's no Apple Pencil support on these, but they're going to make specialty Apple Pencils for these Apple Pro phones.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe for the Pro Max, there's a chance, but I just don't see it. I don't even think so. I highly doubt it. They're going to make a little pencil stylus for it.
I mean,
because of
accurate
case
is that?
mock-ups,
Yeah.
they've said. And I just don't think that's real.
Yeah,
I don't think that's
how
true.
accurate are you really going to be able to get? I mean, it seems like more hassle than anything, you know?
Well, I think it'll work. I don't see the merit in it. I don't know. People would buy it. I don't know. I don't think Apple will do that. I think that that's reserved for their iPad line. I think the usability of that is very limited.
Kind of a selling point to promote those products as well, right?
Yes, for the iPads. Yeah, I would say that the iPads just keep it and they don't do anything with the Apple Pencil with the iPhone, but who's to say? There may be new color variants. I don't want to speak to new color variants because it's always all over the place with them. I totally expect it to still be just the gold color, the black, and the silver for the pros.
I want to see that. You know that Samsung silver color? It's kind of like that rainbow,
it's like a mirrored effect.
Yeah, I would love to see that on an iPhone because I have that on my Galaxy. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I wonder if they would do something like that. See, I could see them making a change like that possibly. As far as that goes, I'm just going to push this right along to I guess we may as well talk about it. It's expected that there won't be a 5G model. That's the last thing that I would say here. I don't know. These are my thoughts on the iPhone. I like my current iPhone. I probably need to see a lot to upgrade. Personally, what I would want to see from Apple is a smaller notch. This would get me to upgrade, right? Mm-hmm. If they had a smaller notch, if they put a fingerprint sensor under the screen, I would love to see that. Even if they're still doing Face ID, I would love to see them offer 2 ways to get in your phone. I think that's a good option. I think a lot of Android phones offer multiple ways. A lot of Android phones have 3 or 4 ways for you to get in your phone, which sounds ridiculous, but it's nice to have options. So if Apple just had 2, the fingerprint and the Face ID, I would really appreciate it. And I think a lot of people would. I want to see reverse wireless charging. Maybe that's why I'm so gung-ho about them doing it. I do think the screen's going to be the same and the notch is going to be the same. A smaller notch would be nice. A 90 hertz display. Now, I don't know how likely it is. I think usually Apple has one thing where they're ahead of the curve or they're at the pinnacle of tech for sometimes. And I'm really hoping that it ends up being that 90 hertz display. And that they have a 90 hertz iPhone, because they've done it with the iPad Pro the last 2 times where they have 120 hertz displays, but those are also LCD screens. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I would like to see that. I dare them to name this an iPhone 11 Pro and not put a USB-C port on it instead of the Lightning cable. I've argued for the Lightning cable for a very long time. I cannot argue for that cable anymore. I'm sick of having all kinds of cables on me. I just want to have USB Type-C. It's better than Lightning anyway. They just need to make the switch. I don't know what else to say. They really should switch that. Also, I do hope that the 128 gigabyte base model is accurate. The 3 camera thing I can care less about. I guess it's a nicety, but So what about you? Is there anything that would make you upgrade, and then what would you like to see from Apple? I don't expect to see any of what I just said, by the way. I expect for Apple to fully disappoint us. I think I'm fairly disappointed by what Apple has to show, and then I go buy the phone anyway.
I can't agree with you there. I mean, I can definitely agree with you there. So what I would like to see, what I think would make me want to upgrade would be the under-screen fingerprint sensor. I think that would be really cool. I've seen it in play, and I think Apple can do a really good job with those multiple points of security for the phone.
Right.
I would really like to see a 5G model. As Nick said, I don't think it's highly likely. We don't think it's highly likely. Just as 5G is still implementing, it's only a few cities. It's really just not out there yet to really take advantage of. I don't think Apple's going to take that extra hit. But nonetheless, it would be nice to see one. I would like to see the 90 hertz display as well, especially with their Apple Arcade that they're coming out with.
Absolutely. We got to talk to that. We'll talk to it in a minute, but we want to mention that as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, gaming on a phone, 90 hertz, I mean, it's going to be a lot better than playing
That
on
sounds
standard
great.
hertz, yeah.
I haven't used a phone that's 90 hertz, but I always hear so much rave review about it from the tech tubers. The real ones, not us.
Yeah.
The ones that get reviews. Or they have viewers and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not bitter.
I would like to see a bigger battery life as well. Bigger
Absolutely,
battery size. Yeah.
Me too.
My phone lasts all day. I mean, if I'm on it 24/7 playing Clash of Clans, it does get down there a little bit near, the end part of the day.
I typically end up charging mine once a day.
Yeah.
Or I end up, twice a day, once in the morning, once in the evening. And personally, I don't like doing that, but, it's the cost of Clash of Clans.
Yeah. And it could be worse. I mean, when I had my Galaxy, that thing would dump battery power. I don't know what it was doing. But with the iPhone, it seems to be a lot better, even with consistent gaming. So I'd really like to see an increase in battery size as well. Another point would be to see that notch gone. But I think that's part of their trademark now. It's kind of, they got a lot of flack for it, and now the flag's kind of gone, and people are kind of like, okay.
People are kind of set into it,
kinda,
and they understand that there's a notch.
So
yeah.
I don't see much
see
backlash with it coming back, but it would be nice to see it gone and have my full display.
I agree.
And
I would like that. I don't know how big of a possibility it is, but I would like that.
Yeah, and obviously what Nick said, the USB-C, I would really like to see them utilize that. I think that could open a whole doorway possibilities for the iPhone. Yeah, a whole new world.
Without a notch for you to see.
Plug in with USB-C.
It's you and me.
Yeah, we're gonna start up a singing podcast after this as well. So
stay tuned for that.
All your Disney hits.
Well, we can't say that. Don't copyright strike us. Yeah. So I would agree. I think that you and I both kind of hit the nail on the head in terms of what people want to see out of it, because obviously we want the best out of the iPhone, but of course it's unfortunately it's one of those things where like Apple gives you what you get what Apple gives you. Yeah. I guess I shouldn't say I always. I'm really disappointed in that. I don't like that Apple tends to be that way. They're very heavily based that way. They just don't really break on that kind of stuff very frequently. But anyways, I think we'll see incremental updates, but I do want to push us along here to the Apple Watch Series 5, which to tell you the truth, if Apple doesn't unveil a Series 5 watch, I won't be surprised. I kind of expect them to just keep selling the Series 4. I think it's a great watch. You and I both have it. It's got excellent battery life. Usually I can get 2 days out of mine. And I have barely seen any rumors. The only thing I've really heard is that apparently they're going to have sleep tracking on it.
Yeah.
But I think that they could implement sleep tracking on the current generation Apple Watch. So I wouldn't be too shocked if they just said, this is the next Watch OS. We're still selling the Series 4 or whatever.
Yeah.
With these updates to the OS.
And it's actually been rumored if they do release the Watch Series 5, they're going to say it's probably going to have a new ceramic and titanium casing designs. So you're going to get to see those. This is all rumored, by the way. And also for years, you all know that we've been hoping for new health features such as non-invasive blood glucose monitoring, which is not a big thing for us younger folks, but for those who need to monitor their blood, that would really be a game-changing feature, because not only does that bleeds into another market of products as well. And
it sounds absolutely crazy to me. Monitor my blood glucose. I don't want to deal with it any other way. Apple Watch, tell me what it is.
Yeah, I think Apple
I'm sure there's a lot of applications for it in terms of health, but
really big on health.
Yeah, I mean, I if they do unveil another Apple Watch, I think that it'll be slightly snappier. The watch, it's really hard for me to even say, because this watch is almost perfect. I don't have a single problem with it, and nor do I care to get another one. Maybe I can only imagine them maybe giving it slightly better battery life, saying that it's faster, but that almost seems irrelevant to me. And then maybe to your point, adding slightly more health features, making it more robust in that sense, and then maybe limiting sleep tracking only to the Apple Watch Series 5 instead of any of the other series. If they did open it up to any of the other series, I would imagine it being the Series 4.
Yeah.
And that's a big if, because I don't even think they would.
Yeah. And for the watch, I know they mentioned previously their softwares. They're coming out with integrated apps for your watch, so you can actually install apps separately. So it's kind of like its own operating system, basically. Now,
and that's cool.
Yeah, I'm super juiced about that. And with that, it opens a whole new world.
Yeah. Yep. Sorry, the song only happens once, you guys. The magic is gone.
The magic's gone.
I mean, I can't really speak much more to the Series 5. Qi wireless charging would be appreciated instead of whatever proprietary thing they did.
I dislike this charger for the watch.
The only reason I don't like it is because it's proprietary.
Yeah.
Why would you want to make proprietary charging when Qi wireless charging exists? Samsung's Galaxy watches, which are worlds apart from the Apple watches, I don't think they're as valuable. I'm sorry for anybody that has them and does. I don't think they're as valuable. I don't think they're as sleek looking or as good looking. I think Samsung is way behind, and all the other companies are way behind when it comes to watches. So Apple's kind of got that edge on everybody. But where they fall apart is the fact that they have the stupid proprietary charger. And it would be nice if they just had Qi wireless charging on it. I don't know why they didn't do that in the first place. Does it charge slower? What was the problem? Was it bigger? Was it that they were going to have to pay to have the licensing for it or something? I don't know.
Yeah.
And anyway, so adding that would be nice. I wouldn't expect a different body design or anything else like that.
Yeah, I think they're
maybe
solid. Maybe
slightly battery life. And I think this design's going to stick around for 3 years.
How many times can you redesign the watch,
Yeah, that's true. But they just redesigned it last year. They gave it the much nicer screen.
Yeah.
Brighter, too, I think. Anyway, to push us along, there's 2 more things I kind of expect to see. I don't think we'll talk to it too much, but I did want to bring it up. Apple Arcade. Yeah. For those of you that don't know, Apple's introducing a subscription-based service for a number of games. I think it'll be something akin to Game Pass, but it's for your iOS devices. And there are actually some pretty good-looking games. A lot of them look very indie, very mobile-esque, but some of them look like indie games. They look better than an indie game, if that makes sense. Just to give you a point of reference, Oceanhorn 2, Knights of the Lost Realm looks really good. And then Beyond a Steel Sky also looks really good. Like, it looks solid. It almost looks like a console game. And Apple, I think they're going to talk about it. I'm hoping that they unveil the pricing, when we can expect to see it release. I'm really curious, but I don't really think they're going to talk about it, is whether or not these games can be purchased outside of the subscription. Because I don't see Oceanhorn 2 available for pre-order, which you usually see these games, at this point you see apps available for pre-order sometimes. And so I wonder what they're doing with that.
I think they might be using that as leverage to push their platform. This is the first time Apple's kind of coming out with something like that. The exclusive, the exclusiveness.
Exclusivity.
It just kind of makes it more appealing, I feel like. Yeah.
I think so too, and to your point, I don't think they're going to offer it outside of Apple Arcade, and if they do, it'll probably be a little while from now. And Apple may have paid for an exclusive deal that this is going to be only available through the arcade subscription.
And my biggest thing to really make me really interested in this is that there's no ads and no in-app purchases.
So it sounds like a curated collection.
Yeah. And you're not going to face, if there's any multiplayer games, you're not going to have pay-to-win people. That's kind of unfair advantages.
Really good point.
Or whatever.
So it honestly kind of does change the game for mobile gaming if you're going to be an Apple Arcade member. Although I would say that Apple is a mainline company. They're huge, so when it changes the game for mobile gaming, it's really changing a lot of the game for mobile games. This isn't a niche thing when Apple launches something, and they usually try to stick with it. I mean, I'm sure they've had several failed products. Please don't mention them. Don't bother. We're not worried about it. I guess you're going to have that kind of like cross-play scenario where it says you can jump from iPhone to iPad, Mac, and Apple TV. By the way, we're getting most of this information directly from Apple's website. If you go to apple.com, there's an option so you could look at the arcade. I don't know if you could just find it, but I just searched Apple Arcade on Google. You'll find it.
Yeah. It's not hard to find.
You can play offline. That's expected. The cool part is it says access for up to 6 family members. So it's a subscription. I wonder if they're going to have an individual plan though, or if it's just going to be like.
It's probably an expansion. It's like a benefit of.
Is that you can have other people play on it too? Yeah.
Yeah, because that would be really cool. I mean, I have a lot of people on my phone, that people that in my family that have iPhones that could really benefit from something cool like this.
That is neat. I like that. I'm curious to see more about it. I don't really have more to talk to about it, other than like, it's funny. I don't want to get too into this. It's funny, but like I think Google Stadia would be far more successful if they did something more like Apple Arcade, and if you're hearing the fans go off, which you're probably not. It's my MacBook. Don't say that it's because it's not a PC. It is way better than anything else. Anyways. I don't really have much more to say to it. I think if Google Stadia was more like this, it might be a little bit more of a compelling offer, because this is a subscription where it's like Netflix for games. All the games are included in this subscription as far as I know. And you just have this like open library of games, almost like Game Pass.
Yeah.
And I think everybody thought Stadia was going to be like that, and it's not, which is just a pain.
A little disappointing.
I don't know why they are doing... I don't know. We don't need to get into Stadia. That's Google. It's not Apple.
But it is an interesting time, like where we're at right now. A lot of these companies are pushing
lots of subscription based stuff. Yeah, pretty soon I'm going to be subscribed out of my wallet, out of my bank account. I'm sorry. Did you have any further thoughts on it before we move along?
No, nothing yet. No.
Yeah, I'm just curious to see. I think they'll talk about it.
I really expect it, because I think it's expected to release this fall. So this is kind of like
they'll talk about it because of how disappointing the iPhones will be. They'll be like, they're more focused on their services right now anyway. They're really becoming a service-based company. They even have a credit card.
Yeah.
They already talked about it, so I don't really want to go too in detail with it, but they have a credit card available too. You know what? For some reason, I want to get it if I get the iPhone, but maybe not. I don't know.
It's like a titanium card, I think, right? It's like
one that you could just sit down and never use because it's connected to your Apple account anyway.
And when your keys wouldn't jingle around in your pocket, it scratches the card out.
I would just die. My wonderful titanium. Is it titanium or is it aluminum?
It could be. I want to say it's titanium, but aluminum makes way more sense. So it probably is aluminum. I know some kind of metal for sure. So
yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we're gonna find that. I don't know if it matters. It's a metal card. That's the biggest. That's the most important.
It's not
thing.
plastic.
Just remember that. If you remember anything, just remember that. So yeah, come on. Anyways, moving right along. I see it. It looks nice.
Titanium. It is laser
You're right.
titanium.
Yeah, you're right. My bad. I just assumed aluminum. Everything they have is aluminum.
It's Apple.
It is Apple. So they also have Apple TV Plus coming out soon. New streaming service. I guess it's supposedly going to be $9.99. I don't know if that information came out from anywhere or if that's just leaked info. It does look interesting. It's going to compete with Netflix and all the other streaming services, Hulu, whatnot, Disney Plus, I imagine, and I think it looks relatively good. I don't know. It's kind of one of those things I'm gonna wait and see. Look what the libraries look like, and then I honestly, just to tell you the truth, I don't want to have anything more than like 2 of these services. I already have Netflix. I already have Hulu. If Apple TV Plus looks good, oh my gosh, this is embarrassing. I actually have 3. I pay for 2. Another family member paid. Oh my god, I have 4. I pay for technically 3 of them, and then another family member kind of pays for 2. So I didn't count Amazon Prime because I buy an Amazon Prime primarily for the shipping, but you also get Prime Video, which has improved a lot.
Yeah.
So I have that. I have Hulu. I have Funimation. That's the one I was embarrassed to remember that I pay to have that. So all in all, right now I'm paying $17 a month in that. If we're pretending like I don't care about Amazon Video. Which I use very sparingly. And then somebody else buys Netflix. I mean, overall it's cheaper than getting cable, but I'm still kind of like, I'm at this point where I'm like, I don't want to add. I don't want to add Disney Plus. I don't want to add Apple TV Plus. I don't want to have all these services. So one of them's going to go, and I'm not getting Disney Plus. We're not going to get into it, but I'm not getting Disney Plus.
And at some point, when does it become enough? You're eventually paying a cable bill for all these subscriptions.
Exactly. HBO Plus. I forgot about that. HBO Go.
Yeah.
I think there's other ones too, but like those are the mainline
Stars
ones that
Play.
are the biggest. Yeah, perfect.
But if you haven't noticed, a big selling point of Apple TV, at least for us Office fans here, it brings Steve Carell back to television.
Oh yeah, right. He's in a show about being like a TV anchor or something like that.
Yes.
He comes back as Brick Tamlin and reprises his role. No, I really
Michael
like
Klump
Steve
making a
Carell.
special appearance.
It's funny, that show actually kind of started to sell me on the service, and I thought, no, I can't have another service.
Yeah.
But it is through Apple.
But you're not the only person.
But with
that's gonna
my
have
new
this
Apple
service.
credit card, what will I have to pay for other than the Apple TV service and my iPhone 11? So Apple's trying to be you. Apple wants to be.
I think they're going into
everything
clothing now
about
as
you.
well.
Yeah, let's hope so.
Apple clothing.
Tech clothing. Tech shirt.
Clothing for the average consumer, the tech
called-
consumer.
Yes, exactly. Clothing for the average tech consumer.
You know, they got golfing gear. They all tech.
It's
clothing.
overpriced, the battery's too small, and the technology is dated, but it has an Apple logo on it, and it's shiny.
And the clothes are shockproof.
Shockproof. Slightly water resistant, it's IP67. We highly suggest you don't run in the rain with it.
You got a lightning port at the bottom.
Yes, we're not opting for USB-C for another 5 years.
Yes.
That's how I feel about Apple with the USB-C. I really want them to implement it so that I could stop bitching about it, but I don't think that they will.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see it, but realistically, I don't think.
I know, that's so sad. Realistically, it's not going to happen. Yeah. Oh, it sucks. But anyways, now that we've kind of gone over everything and our thoughts on everything, I just want to end with a goodbye. That was it. Enjoy the rest of your week. No, I'm sorry. I thought that'd be fun.
We can't let them hang out like that.
Yeah, just hang them off. Boom, done.
We got to give them a good outro here.
Yeah. So I just want to ask your thoughts on Apple kind of overall, where you think they stand right now. Do you think that the competition is better at this point? And I don't know, like, where do you see yourself? I know you have an iPhone 10. When you upgrade, do you think you'll upgrade to an iPhone? Do you think it could be this iPhone? Do you think it'll go Android again?
Yeah. We want to hear your thoughts for sure.
I want to hear your thoughts, Victor.
Oh, you want to hear my thoughts?
Yes.
Oh.
He's playing stupid. He knows exactly that's what I was talking. You could leave your thoughts in the comment below, as I'm sure you will. But I want to know how you feel. Like, do you think Apple's moving in the right direction? Do you think they're trying to do too much too fast? They're a big company. They can handle all this. I'm not going to deny that.
I think they're heading in the right direction. I mean, their sales kind of show it. I know sales on phones in general are kind of like lasting a lot longer than they used to in the past. So all these companies are trying to come up with something that'll
to supplement the cell phone sales.
Because the phones are lasting a lot longer nowadays now.
Well, Apple, a lot of people will keep the iPhone for like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
And then you don't need a new phone for a long time.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're moving in the right direction. I mean, I think they're advancing. I really hope they blow my mind this Tuesday. I want to see something there that we would have never thought Apple would have done, but they went ahead and
they
did
remove
it.
all ports. There's no longer a charging port. It's wireless charge only.
Oh my gosh!
5 watt.
Do not say
no
that.
No reverse wireless charging
Don't
available.
say that.
We've taken out the Bluetooth technology as we felt no one really uses it.
Oh my gosh.
There's no fingerprint sensor or face.
You made my heart drop. Don't curse that. Take it back.
I think one day there will be a portless phone that all you can do is wirelessly charge. I don't care much for that. I don't want to see that.
I doubt it'll be in our near future. We'll probably be gone
5,
by
10 years.
By
It's
by
gone.
then,
Yeah. If
we'll be gone by then.
If we live our lives really poorly, then we'll be gone by then.
But I'm really excited to see what they have in store. I'm not going to take anything off the table. I think our assumptions and our kind of like our hopes are reasonable. I don't think anything we've asked for is unreasonable at this day and age. It's standard in some phones. Nothing we brought to the table is anything out of the ordinary, especially for other major manufacturers like Samsung, Huawei, the OnePlus, and just kind of all this stuff. So
I think for the most part, in terms of their devices, they seem to be ahead, and in terms of their operating system, they seem to be lagging very slightly behind in terms of like performance and like snappiness and overall usability. A lot of people would prefer an iPhone just because it's easier to use.
Yeah.
And then my thing is that like everything with the iPhone is great. Like you have a great camera, you have a great body style, you have a great screen.
It just works.
You know, everything about it just works, and that's the point of getting an iPhone, and it works for a really long time. And a lot of Android phones end up kind of like slowing down, lagging, the batteries don't last as long, the build quality is not as good, and those have been improving for years and years. I would say it really depends on who you're looking at. Samsung phones, I think, are going to last a really long time. OnePlus phones, I think, are going to last a really long time. I think those are going to support you maybe as long as an iPhone would. And I really can stand beside the iPhone because I've owned several iPhones. Now, I upgrade a lot, but I usually give those iPhones away to members of my family. And those iPhones stick around for a very, very long time and still function really well. It was only up until recently that I had to switch my mom off of the iPhone 6 that I originally had to an iPhone 8 Plus. And it's a testament to the product that it lasts for a very, very long time. And I switched to the iPhone 8 Plus this year. So that iPhone 6 lasted, I got it right away. So that was 6S, 7, 8, and then almost like, relative 4 years, I would say it lasted, and it did really well. Of course, she doesn't care about technology, so it didn't make any difference to her. Then when she got the new phone, she thought the new screen was nice. That was good. That's the important part. It's a bigger screen. There's a lot more to it now, Mom. There's a bigger screen. That's the most important thing.
Sometimes the simple things.
I think that's the average consumer, though. Like, most people are going to... Maybe not most people. A lot of people are just like that. Just like you would expect a mom to be like. A typical mom to be like. Where they just kind of go in, grab a device, and go. I would even argue a typical dad. There are a lot of guys that I know. A lot of guys that I know are very tech-oriented. But there are still quite a few that they just don't care. I see them... One guy that I know is really tech-oriented, and I see him pull out his phone, and I'm like, is that a S7? And he goes, yeah. And I was like, you're not going to get the 10 or something? Like, obviously you're not in contract with that phone anymore. And he's like, no, it still works. And I'm like, is that duct tape holding the back on? And a lot of people just don't care. They're like, I want to make my phone last until I die. Yeah. And it's funny because it's the thing you use the most. I would think that's the thing you want to upgrade the most.
Yeah, but I mean, they're not cheap. They're only going up in price, and
that's a good point. And to that
not
point,
everyone has financial stability.
Believe it or not, I really haven't owned a phone for as long as the iPhone 10, and I've had this thing for almost 2 years. So if I upgrade now, it's going to be about the longest stint that I went with the same phone. I switch phones out like every 6 months.
I'm super impressed by it. It's lasted very long.
It really has. I like it. I can't really knock it too much. I think that with all the software updates, it really is only improving. And I don't know. It's a good phone. I'm very tempted by Android sometimes. The one that I'm tempted by most is OnePlus. And the OnePlus 7 Pro looks damn good. But I can't really speak to it too much because I don't own it. Although it looks nice, snappy. It's got just a full edge-to-edge display. That's the one that has the 90 hertz AMOLED display. And I think that looks really good, and that's why I would really like to see Apple implement something like that. That would keep me around, So, I don't know. That's kind of how I feel, and I don't think I'll transition over to Android just because it would make it harder on me since I have all these Apple products. Yeah. But I would certainly like to see the iPhone 11 WOW, and I'm afraid that we're not going to see anything like that until the iPhone 12.
Yeah, I've learned to not overdo my expectations because I don't
want to... No, blow them out.
Yeah.
Have the highest expectations you can.
Said no one ever.
Always go in with the highest expectation possible. That way you're guaranteed to be let down.
Yeah. I guess that's a guarantee. It's better than not.
Yeah,
something.
Better than not. If you go in with zero expectation, you're going to be blown away. You don't want that.
Yeah.
If you go in... Yeah, I don't know. I'm going with kind of low expectations, and I hope that they blow us away. But I really don't expect it. Apple tends not to do that. Even with the iPhone 10, I wasn't blown away. Yeah. And then I got it, and I was.
I feel like this is kind of like an off year for technology as a whole, maybe.
A little bit. I would say the OnePlus 7 Pro is a standout, and so is the Galaxy S10. But the Note 10 was a little bit of a letdown to me. I tried it out, didn't really like it that much. It's a very expensive phone.
Yeah.
And 5G, I have no concern for 5G. Don't care for it at all. Watched a great video on it, though, by MKBHD. And I would highly suggest checking it out so that you can understand that 5G is not really here yet. And if you don't have a 5G phone for the next year, 2 years, I think you're going to be just fine. So I'm not going to take that into consideration. You really have to be super, super close to the 5G, I don't know, emitters.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to be really close to them. Mini towers, mini emitters. Yeah. But anyways, Minotaurs. The Minotaurs, they're not everywhere, so you got to watch out for them. But anyways, to end this, check out Catherine Full Body. That's the most important thing you should have gained from all this. More importantly,
buy an Apple product.
More importantly, yes. Buy Apple products. We're not sponsored by them, but buy Apple products.
If you use our promo code,
it's fake 1, 2, 3. Don't try any promo codes. We don't have any real promo codes. But yeah, I would say check out Catherine Full Body if you're interested in playing a new interesting game that you, if I could say interested anymore. If you're looking to play a new interesting game that of the likes of which you probably haven't played anything like before. Check out Catherine Full Body. Have a PlayStation Plus. Get those free games. I'm sorry. I just complained about it earlier this episode. Get those included games. Game Pass. You can find those included games available as well.
Yep, State of Decay 2 is on Game Pass. It's
that
not new,
old.
but it is great.
And then if you're an Xbox Live Gold member, look into getting those games as well. I would just highly suggest those. That's the gaming plug. For a Tekken game. But watch the Apple press conference if you have the time. I think that they're relatively entertaining. If you want to watch a bunch of fanboys in the stands sit and clap every time they announce anything.
Anytime you hear iPhone, there's a big applause.
Hey, unveiling the next iPhone. Wah! Always. There's not cheers, but there's always claps. But yeah, it's relatively interesting. If you don't watch, then there's usually highlights of the keynote, which I would highly suggest checking out. We'll report back, I think. Oh yeah, just a little thing. We recorded another episode before this. We're actually planning on releasing that after this, so bear in mind that the intro may not fully reflect everything in its entirety. That video makes a little bit more sense to release next week, which is exactly what we have planned, so that's what we're going to do. That's all I have.
Yeah, we hope you all have a great day, and thank you for joining us, and we hope that you continue to spread the word and just kind of share our podcast out there. We'd love to hear from you.
We hope to grow to dozens someday.
Double digits.
We're working on it. And then I suppose we'll talk about this later, but eventually we kind of want to transition to a little bit of a different thing with the podcast. You'll see what that looks like when we get to it. We're just kind of working on things. Right now, just to give you a point of concept, it's irrelevant to you. Victor and I are in the same room. Eventually, we plan on doing the podcast where we're separate from each other. And we'll bring more news on that when it comes. You'll probably just hear it in the first podcast that happens. But we plan on continuing the show and doing it in a different vein. Reason being is that Victor's moving away. He just hates this area. He doesn't like being in the desert, so he's going to move somewhere even hotter. And that's about it. That's all we really have this week. I hope you enjoyed, and have a wonderful rest of the week. I hope you enjoy the Apple press conference. Let us know in the comments below. Join us again soon.
Bye.